Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be a bit different. It's going to be a mage versus lock thing. To that end, I'm logged on to my mage. It's a high warlord, enchanted gear, pretty good gear, even off-pieces gear are pretty nice, most of them. I don't have the best in slot gear like no Neltarian tier, mage, gem, the mind quickening gem or whatever, but overall it is pretty good. I am however quite rusty on the mage because I've been playing my Warlock mostly, just to level it up, and I'll get to that after the run. So let's start the timer. This is just meant to be a comparison, by the way. I will play it as well as I can, but that said, I am quite rusty on the mage. Like I said, I've not really been playing it for quite a while now. The runs will be a bit different. Obviously, the mage is able to deal with lasher packs easily, or should be able to deal with lasher packs easily, whereas the warlock is unable to do this sort of thing. But that's the whole point. Comparing the runs, what you can do. There's also a huge difference in terms of gear. So, the mage is a high warlord, it does have the weapon, it does have good overall gear. You can see that we are currently at 503 fire damage, and we do have a decent crit as well. The Warlock, on the other hand, is mostly wearing welfare gear. I'm not a high warlord there. I will probably get there in time, but at the moment, yeah, it's kind of crap. Both of them are using herbalism and mining. So you might expect a warlock to be, an enchanter. Here, it kind of seems to make sense, right? But since the Black Lotus changes, with Black Lotus being able to drop off Grom's Blood nodes and Dreamfoil nodes, among other herbs, it kind of makes more sense to do this as a herbalist. Like I said, the runs are going to be slightly different. I am not going to be dealing with lasher packs on the Warlock. It would be quite absurd to even try, to be honest. But other than that, the whole point is, getting herbs, mining the rich thorium veins, the usual. We are obviously using the Shatter combo here, Frost Nova Flame Strike, Cone of Cold, and finishing these guys with Arcane Explosions. We are getting some extra herbs from, killing all the Lasher packs in here, but none of them are really valuable, I'd say. They are worth something, it's just not that much. And we are gathering all the packs we can gather, and on a mage that's pretty much everything in here. Because I've been doing this stuff on the mage for quite some time, you can see that on this realm, and this is Thunderstrike Horde, I've got about 14,000 gold plus a large amount of mats I've invested in, mats that I will be selling just to finish that goal guide I started making a while ago. We've still got this pack and another pack, the one that's hidden behind that tree. We'll get to that in a moment, but we want to get the Grom's blood over there. So the way you deal with this on the mage is obviously by pulling the packs, AoEing them down, and then being able to gather the herbs safely. Like, it's not even a challenge, right? And this worked with crap gear as well, because most of your damage came from the shatter combo, which doesn't really benefit a lot from plus spell damage, and it's got the 50% crit baked into shatter. So another thing that every mage out there I think appreciates is being able to blink around to Cone of Cold, Nova, and have a bunch of escape mechanisms, I suppose. Plus, you've got, of course, Ice Block to either try to get rid of a debuff, like a Satyr Poison or, Enervate or Wither or any of that other stuff. And of course, we do not have those on a Warlock. Now, there is a herb, a Dreamfoil, that's left behind, and we are going to get that as well. But we always get that at the very end. We don't get it in the beginning. Okay, I just ran into a satyr here. Normally I would have avoided it, and the reason for attempting to avoid it is that I was hoping to make these rounds, let's say, equal in terms of what we're killing and how we're killing, because if you kill everything on one character and then skip everything on the other one, then that's not a really fair comparison, right? We're drinking because we got the slowing poison on, and obviously that's a bit of a problem. It would take us forever to get through that tunnel with this poison, so we might as well just sit down and drink. One thing I'm gonna do that's a bit unusual, I guess, is I'm going to be killing Hydrospawn as well. And I plan on recording this unedited, as in one run after the other, just to have a pretty clear, shall we say, comparison. The problem is that I am somewhat rusty on the mage, and I am even rustier on the warlock, in spite of having played it for quite some time now. As a mage, however, we're not starting by killing Hydrospawn, we're starting by with Zevrim. We've got power reason to do that, and that's because if we accidentally pull the satyrs while we're dealing with Hydrospawn, if we're pulling that Hell Collar back on the right hand side, then that will probably be a wipe, and they will just start patrolling around, ruining the whole thing. So if that happens, because I am going to include any sort of fails here, if that's the case, then it will ruin our attempt to kill Hydros, and if that happens, then I'm just going to skip him. Like, it's not even a question. It's not worth the, trouble. So as a mage, we have to kill these guys, the Shadow Stalkers. There isn't really much of a choice involved here. We just have to get rid of them. As a Warlock, things are quite different. You'll see when we get to that. We are checking to see whether there's a second satyr here. One does not appear to exist, so I guess we'll just go straight for the boss. And we start with a Fireball into Scorch into Fire Blast. We don't get a lot of time to cast anything else. We blink away and jump down right here. We're gonna let Hydra Spawn move back, and then we are going to go for the pillar, of course. Now, killing this guy as a mage is not that big of a deal, not really. We just spam Scorch until he dies. The problem with that is that obviously he does the whole sacrifice thing that can be quite annoying. You can see that he's coming here and he's on 89%. I'm only stating that as a comparison for what's about to happen with the Warlock. Okay, he appears to be somewhat determined to cast his sacrifice nonsense, whereas we are kind of determined to avoid getting hit by it. So I guess that's that. Okay, we did get hit by pain, but we don't really mind it. It's not going to kill us. And if we get sacrificed with pain on, we're just going to ice block. Hopefully that won't happen though. We are going to use one gem here, the small gem. It's not worth using the large one for this boss. And we're only using it because we are using Fire Blast to get a bit of extra damage in. No, thank you. No sacrifice, please. Okay, and that was everything. We're now going to try to kill Hydra Spawn. And this one can be a bit of a problem, because if you get hit by his adds or by Geyser, he could throw you around either towards this pack or this other pack. As a mage, however, we do have a few escape mechanisms. So we do have Blink, we do have Ice Block, we do have Ice Barrier. We might, just might be fine. I'm gonna wait for the boss to patrol that way. Oh yeah, in here you actually want to use Mage Armor, not the physical damage reduce thing. The boss is pretty much similar to Zevrim in terms of our strategy. We just try to avoid getting hit by its spell, and we keep scorching him. When he spawns the adds on 50%, we're just going to try to use Arcane Explosion on them to kill them, and we may have to use the large gem to deal with him afterwards. The Mana Ruby, I think it was called. Like I said, I am a bit rusty. Yeah, it is a ruby. And he should be spawning those two guys any moment now. In fact, he just did. Okay, we've dealt with them, so now it's just Hydra Spawn left. And we are going to try to kill him. We'll see if we're able to do that without having to use the Mana Ruby. It may not work, but we'll see. If we have to use it, we're just gonna use it. It's no big deal. We're not even attempting to kill this pack here. As a mage, we can, it's just not worth it. And in a similar fashion, we may skip some kills on the Warlock, wherever it appears to make sense to do that. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, or rather what I was talking about. As a mage, we've got these escape mechanisms. I got hit there, but I was able to freeze the imps, blink away, fireward. I can even put up a nice barrier, and like I said, I will be including the so-called fails in the video. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to have 100% perfect runs, right? All right, so here we go. As a mage, we could easily make it here, and we're just going to jump down and wait for those guys to reset. They should be resetting any moment now. It is in fact better to wait for them to get to you before resetting, just because if they're too close to you in the tunnel, when they run back they might see you while you're looting the boss or whatever, assuming you even bother with looting the boss. Okay, so because we've already killed the satyrs, we're now able to go about our business. We still have our... oh no, we don't. I was gonna say we still have our mana ruby, but I just realized I had to pop it because I was out of mana when I got hit by that final geyser, and I had to use it to escape the imps. Should probably recreate this thing while we have a bit of downtime here, or rather, well, forced downtime. We can blink to try to avoid the patrols there in an easier manner, shall we say. And yeah, we've cleared around here. That's the dream foil I mentioned, the node I mentioned. We're just checking to see that the boss, well, not the boss, Ironbark is trying to knock down the door, because obviously we are going to go Nova here, Cone of Cold, and we're going to try to run and reset, right? And we are fortunately able to blink away here. We don't really have a lot of mana left, so we have to be somewhat careful here. But with blink and with enough mana for a rank 1 Frost Nova, we should be more than safe. Okay, the large tree patrol is not here, so what that means is that we can blink away straight to the last boss, and we can jump on that pillar, and we're going to use that as a reset spot. Now I'm not going to use evocation here. You might expect that to happen, but I'm not gonna do it, because I'm going to be saving evocation for the last boss in case things take a turn for the worse. Just waiting for the reset, so we're going to sit down, drink it, the usual. And we're going to blink to avoid taking any full damage here. And with that done, we're going to start with the Pyroblast into a Fireball, into a Scorch, and Fire Blast if we're lucky, but we probably are not going to be able to do that. No, okay, it's fine. We did get hit by Wither straight away, but we don't really mind it. Just as long as we don't constantly get hit by it, we should be fine. We're mostly using Scorch and Fire Blast to damage the boss here. Nothing else really. And we are still trying to avoid getting hit by that Wither. It doesn't always work. As you could see, I just got hit by it, so not ideal. But we are counting on our dampen magic to reduce the damage we take from that thing, right? And we're going to be using our mana gem here, because we have had to use a couple of ice barriers already. Okay, and at this point we should be seeing the imps coming in. And yeah, there they are. We are activating our ice barrier along with our ice armor. We've got our ice block ready. We're going to use ice block to allow everything to get fairly close. We're then going to freeze them, and we are of course going to run here. Now we did get hit by Enervate. It is however not a problem, we've still got evocation ready. So we're just going to pop evocation here. Then we're going to get the imps to come here, and we're going to serve them a delicious shatter combo, right? Okay, we've now got full mana, so we're able to do this sort of thing, or rather we should be able to do this sort of thing, which is, you know, flame strike into blizzard, and the imps should all die there in a couple of seconds really. Everything else should be reset. We are going to check and we're going to see whether if there are any imps left, but I think that was it. Yeah. In terms of dealing with the imps, we're pretty much done. So we, of course, head straight for the restoring veins. And we're going to mine them and get out. We've only got 2 nodes, as far as I can tell, and that's absolutely fine. So this took about 22 minutes and 30 seconds in total. We killed Hydraspawn, we killed Zevrim, we gathered every node, as in every herb node. That was worth taking. And we killed the Satyrs, and we killed the Whiplasher packs, which drop a number of herbs, but none of them are particularly valuable. It's just random crap, really. We did get some Felcloth, I think, one of them, but that's hardly the point. So this is the PvE server, and this was the Mage. Again, rank 14 gear, pretty decent off pieces, not impressive or anything, but yeah, pretty good. Okay, so unfortunately, this is the PvE realm, Thunderstrike, right? Now, I have to say that most of the stereotypes about, PvE realm players turned out to be true. That's all I'm going to say. And therefore, I started leveling on a PvP realm on Spy Shatter. And this time I decided to go for a Warlock. Now, the Warlock is wearing mostly, I would say, welfare gear. Like, okay, we'll go over it in just a moment. Of the eagle, of the eagle, of the eagle, of the eagle, of the falcon. Warlock trinket, the AV, belt, cloak, and staff, Stratholm wand, the gloves from ZG, and shoulders and bracers from ZG along with the welfare neck. And we do have the random BOE here. The spec is 30, as in 30 in affliction down to shadow mastery, and 21 for demonic sacrifice. We use demonic sacrifice for health stamina, right? To restore HP. And yeah, let's see how this goes. So we can't blink to avoid fall damage, so we'll just take it. And we are most likely going to use bandages to try to get stuff, right? To get HP back. We do have that Dreamfoil node over there, and that's fine. We'll take it towards the end. But for now, we'll just keep moving forward in a similar fashion. It's pretty much what things looked like on the Mage as well. We only took that Dreamfoil at the end of the run, as it were. Now, we're not killing Blasher packs on the Warlock simply because we have no decent way of accomplishing that. You could kill them, but it takes so much effort that it's just not worth doing, in short. We've got a couple of nodes. We've got a Grom's Blood here that we're going to try to take, and we've got the Dreamfoil all the way over there. We'll see whether we're able to move towards it straight away or not. It looks like we're gonna have to wait for the patrol to pass. Now, as a Warlock, you do have CC around here. You can banish, you can fear, you can enslave, but you also have the shard management problem. You constantly have to watch out to count your shards, as it were, to make sure you've got enough shards to enslave, to create a soul stone, to create a health stone, that sort of thing. And you can see that right now I've only got one shard left, which is why you don't see me trying to create another soul stone, another health stone, or anything like that. I do need that shard to enslave one of the satyrs, which is why I'm currently carefully moving around here, not doing anything that would require a shard, because I want to let this guy pass instead of killing him. I don't have the option of easily killing him. I can, it's just not that easy, because the Warlock, as you can see, has less than a third of the Mage's spell power. It is in an enchanted welfare gear, so, you know. There is one pack that I plan on killing, and that requires enslaving a Hellcaller, which is why I'm doing this sort of thing, right? I have to check and see whether a second satyr is around here, and I will check that in a moment, but I am going to get the Ghost Mushroom. Now these, of course, cannot drop Black Lotus, but they are still worth something. They are still fairly valuable. I think it's like 1 gold, or yeah, 1.1 gold and a half almost. So yeah, we've got this back here that we want to enslave. Well, we want to enslave the satyr, not the entire pack, because we want to use Rain of Fire to hold aggro on the imps while we try to dot them up. And that's a bit more challenging than you'd think, because they do tend to kill the satyr. That's partially why I was trying to get aggro on these guys. I was also trying to get a couple of shards, but I failed to do that. So we deactivate Train of Fire, we reactivate Fireball, we get the satyr to stay. And we're going to try to bandage, life tap bandage to be a bit more exact, I guess. Oh, yeah, we'll just have to rely on YouTube's timestamps, I guess. I simply forgot about the timer. We don't want this guy to survive, so that's why we're not healing it, we're not bandaging it, we're not using health funnel, we're not doing any of that stuff. We want it to die, and if the boss doesn't kill it, we are going to kill it. Now, obviously, most of our damage comes from the dots, but the satyr also hits pretty hard with that fireball. You could see an 800 something damage on the boss. We do try to hold aggro. We're using our Nightfall procs. Every chance we get to use Shadow Bolt, we do that. But yeah, it's just slightly unreliable, I would say. It's good, it's like really good, it's just not something that you can really count on. Well, like I said, we don't care about the satyr, we don't expect it to survive. I am going to try to drain soul on Hydrospawn because we do want to get some shards. Like I said, we are kind of out of shards here. Because of that, I'm also going to try to kill this guy and drain it as well. Okay, so that gave us 2 shards. We are now able to use... okay, we also got an essence of water. That's always nice. We are now able to use Enslave because we managed to drain, I think, both Hydrospawn and the Satyr. And we do need an Enslave, either for the Satyr here, if one exists, or for the one in the tunnel. We'll see. Okay, so we've got a Satyr here, and we just enslave this guy. We're going to run with him in the tunnel, and we'll see whether there is a second one here, a second satyr, either in the tunnel or at the very end. If a second one exists, we'll get them to fight each other, and we'll try to get our shard back by using Drain Soul on the surviving one. Or possibly on both, we'll see. Okay, so I'm not seeing a second satyr here. Because of that, we are just going to send this one on the boss. Hopefully the boss will either kill it or do enough damage to it with pain and with sacrifice that by the time it joins the fight downstairs, it's almost dead, as it were. You can see that our satyr is very low. We're staying around here for just a moment, just to see whether the satyr dies or not. If we move too fast towards the pillar, the satyr will be out of range, and when it's out of range, his slave, subjugate, whatever, just breaks. But I think the boss just managed to kill it, so that should be fine. We should now be able to move right away. We've got a Grom's Blood node over there, which we intend to take. But we'll wait with that until we've killed the boss. That sacrifice that the boss used on the satyr healed it to full, as you can see. That's fine. As a warlock, we're pretty much able to do this safely, as in we can spend most of our time behind that pillar in a fairly safe spot. We don't need to worry about getting hit by sacrifice all that often. It can happen, it has happened, it's just less of a risk than, on the mage. Of course, we are trying to... Oh, okay, this guy had not died, so we're just gonna try to drain soul here. But he seems determined to waste my time. Bro, like, come on. Okay, we are in a very, very bad spot right now because I was trying to drain that satyr, and what ended up happening was that I got poisoned, and that is a huge, huge, huge risk. Fortunately, it doesn't last for a very long time, but we're still in a fairly unpleasant, I would say, situation here. I was trying to drain soul in order to get a shard, but I underestimated, I guess, that satyr, how long it would take him to die. I figured on 0.2% it would die in like one drain soul tick, but that did not happen, so here we are. I might actually be dead here. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. And I'm not just dead, I'm also out of shards as far as I can tell. I was somewhat fortunate in that I had the soulstone, the old soulstone, still up, but as you can see, I'm now completely out of shards, and I don't even think I've got any food, or yeah, I do. Apparently, I do. So I'm just gonna make use of this, and I'm going to kill the boss normally. Alright, well, this is taking way longer than I would like, but unfortunately this time I don't even have full stamina because I don't have a shard to summon my Void Walker. I just used the last shard for a new Soulstone. That may prove to be a mistake, because the one thing you rely on as a Warlock is being able to regenerate health quickly by means of, you know, demon armor and siphon life and whatever else. And obviously, fell stamina plays a large part there, a very important part, because you know you get 3% of your total health every 4 seconds. And right now, I'm not getting any of that regen, so whereas normally you life tap just because you have too much HP and too much regen. Right now I'm going to have to be a bit cheap, let's say, in what concerns life tapping. We are still regaining HP by using Siphon Life, and the Demon Armor is just not as good as it would have been with full stamina up. I'm going to try to drain the boss in order to be able to get a shard for the pet, but it is a bit risky with the entire sacrifice thing. Hmm. No, that's just bad luck. I was trying to drain it, but it was trying to sacrifice me, so I had to stop. Quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. Mm. We still have that satyr over there, and we're unable to enslave it. So we're gonna have to go as, as things are. I will try to see if I can trigger one of the warp pods and hopefully, just hopefully, get 4 of those whiplashers to spawn, because we are able, well, we're able to kill all 4 when we've got full stamina ticking, but at the moment we don't, so that may actually be a terrible, terrible idea. We'll see if we're even able to find one such pod, I mean. There is one to the left-hand side, right over there, but that occasionally is able to immobilize you, and if that happens, then the patrol is able to reach you and kill you. We do, however, have a soulstone up, so I think I am going to take that chance. Going to risk that just because I am hoping to be able to get... Oh, actually, no. Or maybe... Let's see. No, that was unlucky. No warp pod with that sort of thing here, so we're just gonna have to try to trigger the warp pod over there, maybe. See if we can get 4 flashers to spawn. Or perhaps even the one over here. Yeah, we did get one, so we're gonna try to do this sort of thing. Hopefully I'm not tabbing to a different pack. Okay, yeah, that was totally not what I had in mind. Okay. Like I said, I will include whatever failures we get over in here. And right now we do have a bit of a problem. The only thing I can do is I can summon an imp and sacrifice the imp. That just gives me a bit of extra fire damage, which is kind of worthless because most of our damage is shadow, but it's better than, nothing. So we once again hit that bug where you try to eat and drink and the game just forces you to stand up for no reason, interrupting you. I'm not sure whether I can even pull those remaining 3 guys there without aggroing that pack, because if I do aggro them, then obviously that's going to be a problem. Yeah, no, they are way too close. There is no way for me to do that, so I may actually have to do this without shards, without a health stone, without a soul stone, without anything really. Okay, or maybe not. Maybe, just maybe, I am going to be able to get these guys. We'll see in a moment, I guess. I'm trying to get them without aggroing this, that, or the last pack over there. And I do kind of need them. I need to be able to drain soul 2 of them, maybe, if I'm lucky. It is quite difficult. It's quite difficult to survive this, that is. But I have to try to get a shard somehow. Okay, we did manage to get a couple of shards. That's good enough. We are now able to get both a healthstone and we're able to get a pet that we can sacrifice. And that gives us, of course, the felt stamina buff. And once again, we've hit that bug. I don't know what's going on. It's the same in Cataclysm, and it will probably be the same in Mists of Pandaria. You try to sit down and beat your food buff or drink or whatever, and for no reason whatsoever, the game forces you to stand up. I wasted I don't know how many food buffs in Cataclysm due to this stupid bug. Now that pod over there, that's not one I want to try to get, because if it immobilizes me there, I'm dead. Like, actually, no way of making it out. It's a bit risky around here as well, but like I said, we still have that dream foil, and I fully intend to get it. So in order to get it, what I do is I use a rank 1 banish, which I probably should have keybound by now, but I've not done that. I use rank 1 just to make sure that it expires quickly. So I get the dream foil, I try to make it back here, then I wait for that thing to break, and I rebanish. But this time I use a full rank, like rank 2, to keep it there for half a minute, which should give me just about enough time to make it through here, right? Now the patrol is coming, but I should be able to get through the tunnel before they get here. Yeah, like I said, we don't have a soul stone. I did create a health stone, so that's gonna have to be good enough. The important thing is that we've got our first stamina buff. Without that, I don't know if we could even do the last boss, because, well, you don't have access to any of the tools that a mage has. You don't have ice block to get rid of enervate or wither, or to do any of the other stuff. So you have to rely on health regen to sort of out heal the damage. And here we are. The timer is not accurate. Like I said, I forgot to start it. We're gonna have to rely on YouTube timestamps to get an accurate comparison. That's on me. I just forgot to start the timer as soon as I entered the instance. No, please go away. Okay, so we managed to avoid the initial enervate, and hopefully we're going to be able to avoid the first wither. Yeah, we did. Now the worst thing here is getting hit by the bleed and slow debuff from the wolf. Again, we don't have ice block, so we can't afford that sort of thing. But the rest of it can generally be out-healed, as it were. The spell stamina, demon armor, and life on life should get us in a pretty good position in terms of health regen. The rest of the debuffs are, you can kind of deal with them. It's not the end of the world if you get hit by wither or whatever, although of course you want to avoid that. But the bleed one, that's super nasty. It makes it really difficult to jump back on this ledge, so that's the one you absolutely want to avoid if you can. Now, one problem here is that we don't have ice block. We can't group the imps and the boss when we can't frost nova, obviously. So we have to be kind of careful about timing. We have to try to avoid getting the boss and the imps separated. We want to try to keep them sort of together, as it were. So you can see this guy is on 50 something percent, and I'm waiting here for the imps to spawn. And only now do I jump back here. That should give the imps enough time to make it here. Okay, of course I got hit by that thing. Now, another thing we don't have is we don't have a shatter combo. So realistically speaking, we've got two options. We can use the lesser invisibility potion here, but I'm not going to be doing that. And the reason for not doing that is that I want a sort of a fair comparison. Like, of course, I can pop it straight away, no problem, but I would rather show you what it looks like when you go for the Rain of Fire option, right? Because what you try to do here is you try to kill them with Rain of Fire. And my Rain of Fire with my gear just doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, to be honest. This time it managed to kill a few of them, not all of them, but a few of them. However, a lot of times it fails to do that sort of thing. So what I want to do now is I want to try to kill some of them here, and you might see some of them resetting back to full health, and there's yeah, not much I can do about that. I just tried to cast the second Rain of Fire, but they ran out of it, as you can see. So yeah, that's pretty screwed. I am still trying to kill them, and I am showing this stuff just because I want you to see how different, I guess, it is from running this on a mage, where you can simply let them group up here while you're using your shield, and then you're immediately able to shatter, right? Whereas on a Warlock, if you try to kill them with AoE, this is the sort of stuff you can expect. It is doable. As you can see, we did kill 3 more of them, but is it just as easy? I would say no. No, it's not. So we have dealt with the imps, and of course what that means is that we now have access to the rings. Now these runs have been quite unlucky. Nothing remarkable on the mage, no Black Lotus, no Arcane Crystal, and it doesn't look too promising on the Warlock either. But that's not the point of this video. The point of the video is to try to compare the performance of the two classes. Like I said, I am a bit rusty on the mage and I am kind of noobish on the warlock. You could see that I kind of failed there. I got killed. So yeah, we just got an arcane crystal. I guess it's better than nothing, right? Because that would have been a really sad video after all. And we are now completely out of shards as well. Not a very happy end to this thing. So according to this, the run took almost 28 minutes on the Warlock. Now, of course, the Warlock is in crap gear. It's got 157 shadow damage, whereas the Mage has 503, 507, something like that. I don't have too much crit either, but that's okay because most of our damage comes from dots, so those wouldn't be able to crit anyway. But yeah, that's what things look like. Of course, once the Warlock gets similar gear, it would be a somewhat different story. But let's talk a bit about the differences, the main ones. So the Mage had a faster run. Granted, that's because I didn't screw up a lot, whereas on the Warlock I died. The Mage has no issues with food or water, being able to conjure them, and it's got mana gems, it's got evocation, it's got a bunch of other stuff. The Mage is able to kill the Whiplasher packs, because we did kill every single Whiplasher pack in there, and that can get you a few extra herbs, right? It's not too bad. In addition to that, it makes herbing around the first section of the instance pretty safe, pretty easy. Every Whiplasher pack can be pulled. Sometimes you pull 2 or 3 of them together and kill them. The Shatter combo is amazing there. The Mage also has escape abilities and mechanisms. You know, you've got Ice Barrier, you've got the whole Blink, Nova, Cone of Cold toolkit. In addition to that, you've also got Dampen Magic, so that helps a lot with Wither, and it helps a bit with some of the damage you might take in that instance from, I don't know, accidentally pulling a pack of imps or whatever. The mage is also able to ice block debuffs on the last boss, and it's able to ice block there to allow the imps and the boss to gather and then do a Nova blink and get to that reset spot easily. The Warlock obviously has none of those things. The main advantages for the Warlock would be, I say, having access to Soulstone, Healthstone. Those help quite a bit. Being able to banish and to enslave, and occasionally even to fear if necessary. And that means that it's able to gather some herbs in that hydrospawn room, because you're able to enslave a satyr, go up and send it to kill other satyrs, or maybe send it to get killed. It's able to get a bit of extra DPS from the Hellcaller if you manage to enslave it and if it survives long enough. And it is able to make use of demonic sacrifice to get health stamina and to regen a lot of HP. However, all of these things come at the cost of having to deal with shards, shard management. And as you could see, I just ended that run and I've got precisely 0 shards left. So that's not a lot of fun. The mage could, in theory, keep going indefinitely until it got enough, until it filled its inventory, and then it could simply teleport to town. It's also able to set its Hearthstone to Camp Mojaki to be able to get to Ferolas in 10 seconds, whereas the Warlock is not really able to do that. Of course, you can set your Hearthstone there, but if you also had raids and you're doing other stuff like PvP and so on, then it would be less fun. Now, which one is more powerful for this sort of thing, which is very profitable? It may not look like it at the moment, but I can assure you that it is. So to try to put that into perspective, I've started on this realm like fresh, and at the moment I've got 1700 gold, 300 gold. What you can see here is gold I made while skilling up herbalism and mining on the Warlock, and just selling everything. Like anything I was herbing or mining went straight to the auction house. The rest, just over 1422 gold. That's gold made from dire Maul, just arcane crystals and black lotus. And I still have, I think, black lotus, yeah, on the Warlock that I haven't sold yet. It just dropped a couple of runs ago. And I also have an arcane crystal that hasn't sold yet. So realistically speaking, it's more like 1850 gold. And my goal is to get to about 6,000-7,000 until Burning Crusade, which is going to happen. It's just going to take a while. So with all this stuff in mind, which one's more powerful? In my opinion, the Warlock is more powerful, but that said, I still prefer the Mage. There just seems to be it just seems to be far more elegant. It does seem to have something for everything, as in some ability for any situation, if spec'd correctly, of course. And it is able to kill more stuff, and it's able to do a lot of other stuff, like you're able to go and AoE instances, other instances that is, and so on. The Warlock, however, has an easier time getting a raid spot. Like, you could see me on the Warlock, I have that demoniac, Zandalar demoniac, whatever set. I got a spot in Zul'Gurub while I was in green gear mostly, and all I had to do was spam Curse of Recklessness, and the warriors, rogues, and hunters were super happy. They couldn't care less about the 2 pieces of gear, the Hakari, whatever tokens that I wanted on the Warlock. They were like, yeah, have that, have anything else, just keep up Curse of Recklessness, spam it on everything. It's the same in actual raids, like, Molten Core, Blackwing Glare, and so on. They want Warlocks there because the class is underplayed. It's not that great, I guess. Of course, there is the Burning Crusade perspective. Warlocks are going to be pretty much top DPS there. A spot they sort of share with BM Hunters. The Mage, on the other hand, it's not going to be as popular I'm not saying it's crap, I'm saying it's not going to be as popular, right? So, with all that in mind, yeah, I think I still favor the Mage, at least for vanilla. When it comes to Burning Crusade, things are quite different, but of course no one would be running, Dire Maul East in Burning Crusade unless they were, just going there for the nostalgia factor. I don't know what your opinion is. This is what things look like. I am aware that the Warlock run was far from perfect. I was not prepared for this. It's just something that came to mind at the time. So I was like, yeah, sure, let me just do this, record it, and see what people think. So, yeah, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.